Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sulaiman Educational Channel. In this video, we will be discussing about loops. We will be discussing about input statement, output statement, loop structures, for to next loop, repeat until loop, while do and while loop, and standard action. In this part, we will discuss how to write pseudocode for input statement. Input is used for data entry. It is actually followed by a variable where the data input is stored. Let's look at an example. Input name. Name is the variable and input is used. It means that whatever data entry is done, it will be saved in the memory with the variable named as name. Let's look at another example. Input student mark. Student mark is the variable and input is used. It means that whatever data entry is done, it will be saved in the memory with a variable named as student mark. Keep in mind that the variable name must be meaningful. Name and student mark clearly show that the variable is used for what purpose. Now in this part we will discuss how to write pseudocode for output statement. Output print is used to display information either on a screen or printed on paper. It is usually followed by a single value that is a variable. For example, print name. It can also be a single string. For example, print your name is name, or a list of values separated by commas. For example, output name1, name2, name3. Now, in this part, we are going to discuss about loop. Keep in mind, loop means repetition or iteration. It means that a process has to be repeated again and again for a certain number of times. There are three different types of loop. The first one is the for to next. This loop is used when we know that the process will be repeated for the exact number of times. For example, if we know that the loop has to repeat 20 times, then we are going to use for loop. The second type of loop is the repeat until loop. This loop is used when we do not know for how many times the process will be repeated, but we know that it will run once. Keep in mind, in repeat until, the comparison is done at the end. The third type of loop is the while do and while loop. This loop is used when we do not know for how many times the process will be repeated, and we also do not know whether it will run once. Keep in mind that in while loop, the comparison is done at the beginning. Now, let us discuss for to next in detail by using an example. For counter, assignment operator 1 to 10, print asterisk next. In the first line, for counter assignment operator 1 to 10, in this line a variable counter is used. The value of the variable starts from 1 and ends till 10. So 1 is the starting value and 10 is the ending value. So whatever is written in for next is repeated 10 times. So second line, print asterisk is written, so asterisk will be printed, and the last line is the next. In this line, the value of counter is automatically incremented. It will also guide the program to move back to line 2 and repeat the process until the value of the counter is 10. We can also write next counter. Now let us discuss another example of for to next. For counter assignment operator 1 to 10, print enter name of students. Input student name, square bracket open, counter, square bracket close. Next, the first line for counter assignment operator 1 to 10. In this line, a variable counter is used. The value of the variable starts from 1 and ends till 10. So 1 is the starting value and 10 is the ending value. So whatever is written in for next is repeated 10 times. Now In the second line, print enter name of student will be printed. In line 3, input will be taken and stored in the array student name. Over here, student name is an array. We know that it is an array because square bracket is used. In the square bracket, the variable counter is used. It acts as an index. So when the value of counter is 1, the name which we are going to give is stored in the student name 1. Here 1 is the index. So when the value of counter is 2, the name which we are going to input is stored in the array student name 2. Here 2 is the index and so on. And the last line is the next. In this line, the value of counter is automatically incremented. It will also guide the program to move back to line 2 and repeat the process until the value of the counter is 10. Now, let us discuss another example of for to next. Sum assignment operator 0, for counter assignment operator 1 to 10, print enter a number, input number, sum assignment operator sum plus number next. In this example, we are finding the sum of 10 numbers which are taken as input. The first line, sum assignment operator 0. In this line, sum is a variable and is initialized to 0. Initialization is necessary to give default value to a variable, so the starting value should be 0 for a variable which calculates the sum. The second line is for counter assignment operator 1 to 10. In this line, for loop is used. Counter is a variable and values start from 1 and until 10, so the loop will repeat for 10 times. The third line is print enter a number. This line displays the message enter a number for the user so that the user can enter any number. The fourth line, input number. In this line, whatever data entry is done is stored in the variable number. The fifth line, sum assignment operator sum plus number. Over here, the new value of sum is calculated by adding the old value of sum with the value of number. And the last line is the next. In this line, the value of counter is automatically incremented. It will also guide the program to move back to line 3 and repeat the process until the value of the counter is 10. Now let us discuss repeat until in detail by using an example. Repeat, print asterisk, counter assignment counter plus 1 until counter is greater than 10. The first line repeat is used. In the second line print asterisk. So second line print asterisk is written, so asterisk will be printed. Third line is counter assignment counter plus 1. In this line the value of counter is incremented by 1. In for loop it is by default, but in repeat until you have to write the statement to increase the value of the counter by 1. And the last line is count until counter is greater than 10. In this line the value of counter is compared with 10. If the value of counter is not greater than 10, then the loop will be repeated again. If the condition counter greater than 10 is true, then it will exit the loop. Keep in mind that repeat until the loop works when the condition is false and stops when the condition is true. Now let us discuss another example of repeat until. Total assignment operator 0, mark assignment operator 0, repeat, total assignment operator total plus mark, print enter value for mark minus 1 to finish, input mark until mark is equal to minus 1. In the first line, total is initialized to 0. In the second line, mark is initialized to 0. Third line, repeat is used. Fourth line, total assignment operator total plus mark. In this line, the new value of total is calculated by adding the old value of total with the value of mark. In the fourth line, print enter value for mark minus 1 to finish. This is used to display message for the user and to inform them that if minus 1 is entered, the program will stop. and in the last line until mark is equals to -1. In this line, the value of mark is compared with -1. If the value of mark is not equal to -1, then the loop will be repeated again. If the condition of mark is equal to -1 is true, then it will exit the loop. Keep in mind that in repeat until the loop works when the condition is false and stops when the condition is true. Now let us discuss while loop in detail. Total assignment operator 0, print enter value for mark -1 to finish. Input mark, while mark is not -1, do total assignment operator total plus mark. Print enter value for mark -1 to finish. Input mark and while. In line 1, 0 is assigned to variable total. In line 2, print enter value for mark -1 to finish. Here the message enter value for mark -1 to finish displayed for the user. In line 3, input mark. Here data entry is done and the value is stored in the variable mark. Line 4, while mark is not -1, do. Here the value of mark is compared with -1. If the value of mark is not -1, then the condition is true and the loop will be executed. Line 5, total assignment operator total plus mark. Here the new value of total will be calculated by adding the old value of total with the value of mark. In line 6, print enter value for mark -1 to finish. Here the message enter value for mark -1 to finish displayed for the user. It is inside the loop. Line 7, input mark. Here data entry is done and the value is stored in the variable mark. The last line and while shows that move to line inside the while loop, that is line number 5. Keep in mind that while loop works when the condition is true and exit when the condition is false. Now we will discuss some of the standard action used in pseudocode. The first standard action is total, which can be written as total assignment operator total plus value. For example, keeping a running total of the value of goods sold in a supermarket. The second standard action is count, which can be written as count assignment operator count plus 1. For example, keeping a count of the number of times an action is performed. It is mostly used in loops. The third standard action is counting down. It can be written as count assignment operator count -1. For example, the number of items in stock in a supermarket. These standard actions can be used with different variables, but the concept remains the same. This is the end of the video. If you haven't subscribed the channel, then do so by clicking the button. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get notification of the latest videos uploaded on our channel. Don't forget to like, comment and share our videos. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. The link is given in the comment section. We will meet again soon with a new video. Thanks for watching. Take care and Allah Hafiz.